The two dominant characteristics of this spectacular site that we have to work on are the undeniable hard grid of Belfast City, which in the purpose, this slide enters the site here, this grid of streets that connect with Ridgeway Street, that form part of the feeling of what the texture of the whole town of Belfast is like. And then running through that tough, angular, fixed, solid kind of structure of the texture of the town, the lagan just lazes its way across it as if it was easy. Our first thought was about the river and about the city. It looks now as if you can dig down and find the river under the city. We took down these buildings on Ridgeway Street, and at the moment it looks like this. Its building is flying up with a very active and very attentive site construction team, and the quality of construction that we have so far achieved is remarkable, I think. And it will, I hope, take its form from that same perspective as this. So what I'm here today to do is try to unpack what you see as a building site and try to predict what you might see as a building. So the building has to be in the trees on the riverside, and it has to be on the street. It has to be an urban building, hard on the Ridgeway Street side. The scheme is divided in three parts, three constituent parts, because what's distinctive about the Lyric Theatre is that they're a producing theatre group, which means they are rehearsing at the same time as they are that they are producing all of their own activities. So there are theatres that take travelling shows only, but what's wonderful in the Lyric is that it is a house for theatre itself. It has its own family. It has its own kind of culture of all of the things that go on in theatre. And as we got to know, and as you realised from the date of my first sketch, we have had time to get to know the people in the Lyric very well. As we have got to know them, we realised that it doesn't matter actually too much if they're in the finance section or in the costume or in the laundry or among the actors, that the feeling is that we work in theatre. That's what we all work in theatre. That's what people think. And so this idea that it's a house for theatre, a house for Lyric, is a very important characteristic for us. We're trying to break down this divide between front of house and back of house. It must exist, of course, for operational reasons and for very good logistical reasons, but the atmosphere should be, when you enter the door as a visitor or as a worker, that you enter the house of theatre. Although you imagine people who are acting want to show off, the time they do not want to show off is when they are in rehearsal. Then they are in hiding in some way. But the dimensions of the rehearsal are tied to the dimensions of the stage on which they must perform. So actually, before you find yourself, as I said, on a very, very constrained site, a very particular shape of site, then you find that the site is sloping, which is maybe a problem, but is probably to the advantage of a complex building like this. You can't make it long and narrow. You can't make it tall and high. It has fixed operational dimensions. So we have these three parts which come out in this scheme, maybe, which is the shape of the rehearsal room, the shape of the studio theatre, and I mean, with a little intervention from us, the shape of the auditorium and the way the auditorium relates to the stage, which relates to both of these dimensions.